Musk now asking a federal tech check. It is getting spicy now, Steve.
Yeah, Carl, spicy to say the least, with Musk ramping up this lawsuit.
The View, once celebrated for its unfiltered discussions and fearless takes on current events, found itself drowning in controversy after a relentless storm of over 30 defamation lawsuits. What was once a lively platform for sharp opinions and heated debates quickly crumbled under the weight of legal troubles, financial setbacks, and public scrutiny. The show, once considered an unshakable force in daytime television, now stood on the brink of disaster.
I've been saying that I think Elon Musk believes he's president.
Over the top, it was like making everyone uncomfortable.
Really?
It was really over the top. You know, I mean, I think like sort of a passing joke of like, you know, a few passing jokes were fine, but they twisted the knife big.
Whoopi Goldberg, a longtime pillar of the show, had always been known for her outspoken nature. She never hesitated to voice her unfiltered thoughts, often directing her sharp criticisms towards some of the most influential and controversial figures in the world. From Elon Musk to the Trump family, no one was safe from her verbal fire. She thrived on calling out powerful individuals, assuming that her fame, credibility, and years in the industry would protect her from any significant fallout. However, what she didn't anticipate was the sheer scale of the backlash brewing beneath the surface. For years, her words were met with applause, approval, and occasional outrage. But things took a drastic turn when her remarks began crossing the fine line between opinion and defamation. First, there were only murmurs of discontent, public figures pushing back against her accusations and questioning the validity of her claims. Those murmurs soon turned into lawsuits, one after another, until The View found itself entangled in a legal battle that seemed impossible to escape. The network scrambled into damage control mode, but no amount of PR spin could contain the unfolding disaster. As the lawsuits piled up, so did the consequences. Sponsors, once eager to align with the show's fiery, no-holds-barred approach, began pulling out. Advertisers grew wary of associating their brands with a show that had become a magnet for legal trouble. Ratings, which had once soared thanks to the show's unpredictable and controversial moments, began to nosedive. Viewers were divided. Some saw Goldberg as a fearless truth-teller, while others felt she had gone too far, using the platform to push reckless accusations without accountability. The unraveling of The View happened faster than anyone could have predicted. What started as a show built on bold opinions and unfiltered debates had turned into a liability. The backlash was relentless, and the network had to make a choice: stand by its host or salvage what was left of the brand. But with financial losses mounting and reputations on the line, the decision became inevitable. The era of The View, as it had once been known, was coming to a dramatic end.
I've been saying that I think Elon Musk believes he's president. I do.
Well, you've been calling him vice president.
I've called him vice president. I called him president because I don't know.
In a world where legal battles could make or break a career, even the most untouchable celebrities were not immune. Trump family became one of Whoopi Goldberg's favorite targets, a name she rarely mentioned without a sharp jab or scathing critique. Whether it was Donald Trump himself, his children, or his associates, she always had something to say, and it was rarely complimentary. She accused them of being embroiled in elaborate conspiracy theories, hinting at backdoor deals and shady political maneuvers that, according to her, were eroding democracy from within. But she didn't stop there. In a move that left many scratching their heads, Goldberg set her sights on an unexpected figure, Carrie Underwood. The beloved country music star, known for her soaring vocals and clean-cut image, suddenly found herself dragged into Whoopi's tangled web of accusations. Goldberg suggested that Underwood was more than just a talented singer, that she was allegedly part of some covert entertainment industry power play, operating behind the scenes to influence media narratives and public perception. Claim was so bizarre, so out of left field, that even Whoopi's most loyal supporters weren't sure what to make of it.
But apparently, his wife has different thoughts on the reproductive rights after posting this video plugging her memoir.
But the tides were shifting. The entertainment world was evolving, and the very immunity Goldberg had relied on for so long was beginning to wear thin. Her critics weren't just shouting into the void anymore, they were taking action. Lawsuits were piling up, networks were growing uneasy and advertisers were reconsidering their partnerships. The warning signs were there, but whether Whoopi saw them or simply chose to ignore them was another question entirely. Goldberg gravely miscalculated the influence and resources of the people she was targeting. She had built a reputation for speaking without a filter, firing off accusations with little hesitation. But this time she wasn't just stirring up controversy for ratings, she was stepping into dangerous territory, throwing out claims that were, in many cases, not just exaggerated but completely unverified. Her words weren't just provocative, they were reckless. And in an era of instant fact-checking and legal accountability, that was a gamble she couldn't afford to take.
If I believe I have the right to make up my mind to go perform someplace, I believe they have the same right.
Of course.
And so
That's
I have
true.
to, I have to.
Advertisers grew wary, distancing themselves from the controversy, while even some of her longtime supporters started questioning whether she had finally gone too far. What had once seemed like a never-ending ride of media dominance was now spiraling out of her control. It was one thing to provoke debate, it was another to make claims that could hold up in a court of law. And with high-profile figures prepared to fight back, Whoopi found herself in a position she had never expected, on the defensive, facing the very consequences she had believed would never reach her.
If I believe I have the right to make up my mind to go perform someplace, I believe they have the same right.
Of course.
And so
That's
I have
true.
to.
But before Goldberg could even catch her breath, the Trump family struck. If there was one group in the world known for playing hardball, it was them. For years, she had hurled accusations their way, painting them as architects of deep-seated corruption and branding them as masterminds of conspiracy, even hinting at criminal activity. But what she didn't count on was that the Trumps didn't just fight back. They went for total destruction.
So then the bakery has a press conference where they say, we've been in business for 150 years. This is not what happened at all. We don't discriminate against anybody regardless of anything.
Saga of The View had already spiraled into chaos, but this showdown took things to an entirely new level. What began as an isolated dispute over a Staten Island bakery, a seemingly minor incident, quickly ballooned into a nationwide controversy, further exposing Whoopi's habit of making inflammatory claims without verifying the facts. Goldberg had publicly accused the family-owned bakery of discrimination, alleging that they had refused to take her orders simply because of her political beliefs. She framed the incident as yet another example of intolerance, using her platform to call out what she believed was an act of political bias. The problem? It wasn't true. The bakery, a beloved establishment that had served its community for generations, pushed back immediately. They weren't making a political statement, they simply had a boiler malfunction that prevented them from taking large orders that day. But by the time they managed to explain themselves, the damage had already been done.
You know who? Stay away from the stairways. Because, people put the leg out to trip you going down the stairs.
He wasn't just angry, he was ready for battle. On his podcast, Rogan pulled no punches, dissecting Whoopi Goldberg's claims with brutal precision. He brought on legal experts, community members, and even representatives from the bakery to share their side of the story. The narrative Goldberg had tried to spin began to unravel quickly, exposing the shaky foundation of her accusations. Rogan framed the situation as a microcosm of a larger issue, how powerful media personalities could manipulate narratives without facing real accountability. His words struck a chord with his vast audience, many of whom were already skeptical of mainstream media. Podcast episode went viral, amplifying the bakery's truth and further damaging Goldberg's credibility. With each passing day, the fallout grew more intense. Sponsors continued to distance themselves, advertisers withdrew, and the network found itself scrambling to contain the chaos. The once unshakable empire of The View was now crumbling, its future hanging by a thread. In the end, Goldberg's downfall wasn't just about the lawsuits or the public backlash. It was a cautionary tale about the dangers of wielding influence recklessly. The empire she had helped build was now in ruins, and the very platform she had used to amplify her voice had become the stage for her own undoing. The entertainment world watched in stunned silence as Goldberg, once a media powerhouse, became a symbol of what happens when the line between opinion and defamation is crossed. Her story served as a stark reminder. In a world where truth can be fact-checked in real time, not even the biggest stars are immune from the consequences of their words.